Hello, it is Jason again, continuing with a little Solid Edge fundamentals. If you take a fundamentals course, or if you download the courseware, you'll see in the book there's some little sample parts in the back. We like to do some of these in the class as kind of a free form activity without any instruction or very little instruction. So I thought I would model a couple of them. So this is an English part. It's in inches. I can tell by looking at the dimensions. So I've gone ahead and made a new empty part file. I might do this both in ordered and synchronous. It's a simple part. Maybe I'll go back to the PDF. If we take a moment and look at it, it's basically made up of a square and a cylinder, and then it has a hole. If you kind of forget about some of the details, like the rounds, and simplify the shape in your mind, it can kind of help you form a strategy for creating the model. So I would make a square, and then I would make a cylinder, and then I would round the corners, and then I would put the holes in. So something along that line. Solid Edge has box and cylinder. We could certainly use those, but that's probably a little too easy. I'm going to go ahead and right click and hold, use my radial menu, hover and lock. And I'm going to make this 4.5 tab 4.5 tab 0 tab, and then we can select that region and just pull with the steering wheel, and this needs to be 0.75 or 3/4 of an inch. Then we'll make our cylinder, lock to the top plane, key off the center, key in my 2.25 diameter, select the region. The overall height is 3 inches and the flange is 0.75, so I'm going to use 3 minus 0.75 to do the math for me. And now I'm going to go into a little rounding. I'll double click to fit the view. Okay, I'm still in the round. This should be 3/8. 0.375, and the corners should be 7/8. Notice that I selected all 4 and then entered the value. Now the whole command should be easy. Let's do the 4 holes. The drawing, if you look at it, doesn't really define where these holes are. We have to make the assumption that they're in the center of the rounds. That's okay. They are 3/4 inch diameter. And they do go through. So I'm going to lock to the top face, and then if I brush the little arc, the edge, it should find the center. Or if you come out to the edge and tap C, you should be able to get dimensions that way if you wanted to. I'm just going to snap these in on center. Now, because we created these 4 holes at once, they'll be treated as a pattern when we go to assembly, and that looks pretty good. Go into the hole command again, and it looks like we have a 1 5/16 down to the floor. It's actually a counterbore. So we'll choose counterbore type. depth. You know, the depth would be 3 minus 0.75. If you had the drawing up, it probably would help a little bit. I don't want to switch back and forth to the drawing too much. And I do believe that's a through hole of 0.75. Looks good. And I'm still locked to the floor, so I'm going to unlock. And I think if I actually come to the edge, I don't even need to lock. It will find that face and that axis if I carefully put my mouse over the edge. And then I'll just escape once. And that looks pretty good. So that should be almost exactly what's in the book. And if I was to go back and do this in ordered, transition to ordered, you would certainly start with the extrude. You would lock to the base plane. Takes you into the profile environment, which synchronous modeling actually doesn't have. And then you close out. To be correct, you would probably put dimensions on here. It's kind of nice when you get to drafting, these can be retrieved automatically. And this is and then we'll do another extrude on the top and do our circle. Again, takes us into this profile environment and brings us square to the screen. Doesn't seem right. So put a dimension on that. And close out. Takes me back to the 3D environment, and this is 3 minus 0.75. 3 minus 0.75. Probably could do that math in my head, couldn't I? That looks pretty good. And a little rounding, which is almost identical workflow. The difference with ordered is you can actually have multiple radius values within one command, which is kind of nice. A lot of people don't know it, don't use it. And then I'm going to right click through that, and you see I get 2 on my round command. I actually get 2. If I double click that, it takes me to dynamic edit. I actually get 2 values because but yet I have 1 round feature in the tree, which is pretty cool. Round hole, I probably should have saved that setting that I configured earlier. It was a counterbore. It was 2.25. And it was 3 minus. And 7.5. And then we're going to drop it on this top face. Holes in ordered modeling are kind of a profile based feature. That doesn't seem right, does it? So I'm going to close. I'm going to go in here and change this. Seem to be 2.25. It should be 1.3, 1 5/16. misread the drawing. Notice it changes the hole I created and the hole I'm about to create. All holes are the same size within one hole command. And then finish. It's pretty good. And then the holes for the through holes, again, I probably should be saving those off. Save me a little bit of time here. These are 3/4. This is where you would either save as default, or you could give it a name and save. If you put your mouse over an edge and tap never mind. We'll just do the holes. 4 holes, probably could use a circular pattern or a rectangular pattern, but in this case it's kind of on the fence whether I just create them or make a pattern, because it will be treated as a pattern when you go to assembly. So there you go, ordered and synchronous. It's the first. They call it base plate. In the additional modeling projects from the Solid Edge Fundamentals course.